We're going to take a look at the bull and bear case for Netflix right now. Joining us is Dan Morgan. He's vice president and senior portfolio manager at Synovus Trust Company. Synovus holds more than 16,000 shares. That's a $5.8 million position in Netflix. Also here with his point of view is our guest host, O'Share's chairman and Shark Tank host, Kevin O'Leary. Dan, let's start with you. Why don't you lay out the bull case for Netflix?
Well, I think the big bull case, Becky, is what you're talking about before. It's just sheer size. I mean, right now, Netflix, as you have talked about, has about 150 million subscribers at the current rate of their ads, which is roughly about 5 million per quarter. And by 2024, you're probably looking at about 250 million subscribers, which is just a behemoth when you compare it to some of their rivals. Disney, Fox is probably 60 to 90 million. You've got 100 million Prime users. We don't know how many on Amazon actually watch the shows. So just from a size perspective, I think that's where Netflix has a tremendous advantage over some of these other companies that are getting involved in the streaming side.
Kevin, your take?
Here's what I think is happening in front of our eyes. Disney stock was dead money, I'm a shareholder, for 5 years, sitting and languishing at 94 to 102. And then Iger gets his act together on streaming. He hasn't made a dime in it yet, but he gives us the roadmap. All of the market capitalization that has increased on Disney in their market cap as a result of his map, to me, came out of the Netflix stock, which has been kind of dead since Disney. You know, I own both these stocks. So I'm watching a passion play rollout because here's what I think happens. And I'm not sure, nobody knows yet, but what's holding back Netflix stock is if I had both services and I'm a new consumer and I'm cutting the cord, do I buy them both or do I buy Disney because I'm a family and I pay for that first? Does it slow the rate by which it's adopted to new users starting in 24 months? And the market's reflecting that in its concern and the fact that content's being pulled, the Friends story and all that, and the fact that Netflix doesn't make any money and Disney does.
Are there room for two winners in this or even more? And I guess that would be my question, because I get your point entirely. As somebody with kids, Disney is going to definitely be in the list of things that I pay for. But
yeah, I'm just concerned, and many other investors are like me, saying when the world is now two behemoths, does it slow the rate of adoption of the original player, which was Netflix? I don't think anybody else can do what Disney's going to do. I know Andrew for sure will buy that service. I will buy it because I'm a fan of some of Disney content. And my own show, Shark Tank, will probably end up on there, too.
I'm going to buy it, but I have a different one for you.
Okay.
Which is, I imagine in the next 2 years, what the millennials are doing, which is turning on and off these services, will become a much more mainstream idea. Meaning someone's going to have an app, whether it's a banking app or something else, where you're going to say, you know what, I'm watching Homeland on Showtime right now, so I'm going to have Showtime for this next month. Then I'm going to go to Netflix because I want to see this. And, oh, now maybe I'll keep Disney all the time to babysit the children, or I'll keep one of these to do something like that. But there's going to be a lot of movement back and forth.
I thought that, and I tried something last year. I bought a giant screen TV for my place in Miami. And I said to my wife, Linda, I'm not going to buy cable for this. I'm going to do it with all the streaming services. It is a nightmare. It is virtually impossible.
Agreed.
You can't do it. And I finally called up the provider. They said, please give me cable. I got to watch football. I got people coming over, and I can't get the friggin' game.
No, for that purpose, yes.
Agreed.
I have one other question for Dan, which is, I have a personal view, which is Friends and The Office and everything else. Everyone has this view that somehow this is terrible, that this stuff is leaving. And we always cite these numbers, the millions of hours that people are watching. And it all seems so fake to me because both of these shows have huge libraries. And it's just hours watched. But I don't think it's what's keeping people attached to any of these services.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, that was a big news story last week, the loss of Friends and what would be the impact in Office on Netflix. You know, I think the biggest thing that drives it, and you guys have talked about it a million times, is obviously just the continuation of adding more content. We know that Netflix has the largest amount of commitment to that. It's $15 to $20 billion. You were talking about Disney and what they're doing with the Fox deal. They're probably $4 to $4.5 billion. Amazon is probably $6 to $6.5 billion commitment towards content. So as long as they're putting that kind of money into it and they're able to keep extending these series, I think it's more about the new shows coming out and people getting latched onto those
I'm
than,
with you.
hey, I've got to catch my friends that were, popular during the 1990s.